All right, so here we are again. What kind of smile is that? Wow, God, Brian Key, that's one of those photo op smiles. But here we are, Tank Nation again. Got KJ Dirty Face coming in, just do a little talking today to everybody. So thank y'all for coming, and take it away.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your First Lady of A.R.M, Kay Jay SD1. Man, it's such a blessing to be here. It's been a few months since I've been here. A lot's been going on. We're going to get a little bit more into that. I'm going to hand the mic over to the king of A.R.M, Mr. Key.
It's Dirty Face, man. I'm in the building. How y'all doing, man? I'm glad to be in the building. It's been a while since y'all seen us with this arm, but God is moving.
He definitely is.
So what's going on? What's up with you?
Man, I think I haven't been here since March. Am I correct? Am I correct, y'all?
Something like that.
All right, so it's June now, so that's 3 months, 90 days at least. Got a lot going on. For those of you who received the monthlies, you've heard that I've been going through trying times with my father. My dad is very, very sick, and I've been dealing with that. I take him to and fro to appointments 3 to 4 times a week. It just depends. Sometimes we have 4 or 5 appointments in a day. It just depends on, what's going on. But the blessing and the beauty in that is he celebrated his 63rd birthday on June the 6th. And on that same day, I released the first part of my autobiography. So that's been a 5-year in the making on this book. But it's truly been a blessing. Also, during that time, y'all can now stream KJ SD1 on your tablets. So everybody that got the music subscription, you can go ahead and check it out. But we're going to get some for those who can't afford to pay for that music subscription as well. I'm working on that with Megamind here to just be able to continue to bless people. I've never been an artist that's about money or trying to get money from people off the stream. So I'm trying to make it available to everybody who wants to listen. And hopefully that something I say, something I do is a blessing to you guys and ladies.
All right. Well, speaking of the book, let's go ahead and talk about this book.
All right. We're going to jump into the book. So the title of the book is called From Mourning to Mourning. And mourning like mourning death, to mourning like good morning, waking up to life. I talk about the entire first part of my life up until about 2021, kind of gathering into 2022. So this is pretty current. The back end of the book is pretty current as to things that have been going on in my life, from my childhood in Germany, a time in Mississippi, to my life in the streets in Austin, Texas. You'll hear about my different things in school and various things like that. My struggles, my mental illness. What else we got? It's pretty deep. It talks about my transformation in prison. It talks about how I got into the ministry. So this book is available on Amazon for those of you who have family out there. It's called, again, From Mourning to Mourning. All they got to Google is KJ SD1 inside of Amazon, and it's going to pull up the book and the music.
Okay, well, would you talk about the art design? And
yes. Shout out to Jeezy. That's my bro, man. That's my bro. The illustration of this cover, Jeezy drew this, and y'all have no idea how many people have reached out. They have actually asked me to go on a book tour to Italy, Frankfurt, Germany, and Hong Kong, and they hadn't even read the book. They said the cover is what drew their attention into the book. So I want to give a very, very special shout out to Jeezy. And Jeezy, I love you, man. I appreciate you. I came up here and just told him, bits and pieces of my story. And God used this man in a mighty way, and he designed this cover art, and it was just a blessing to have him be a part of it. He actually, in the acknowledgments, the first part of the book, I talk a little bit more about me and Jeezy's relationship. I wrote it in the book to give him praise, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't take anything lightly, and I never, ever want to cut anybody out of their credit if they're doing something for God and also for me, because God put them in my life for a reason. So big shout out to my brother Jeezy. I love you, man.
All right. Well, if you can sum up the book in one word, what would that be?
Real.
Damn,
Truth.
That's kind of fast.
Honest.
Now that's 5 words. I said 1 word.
Real.
Okay.
It's real.
All right.
Real.
All right. Well, what else have you been involved with as far as like with the homeless and things like that? Because I know you still feed the homeless.
Yeah, so our last feeding was actually in March for the homeless, but now I'm transitioning. I got a shower truck, probably about 3 years ago, actually, maybe 2.
Now explain the shower truck, because people think that I just made this up, and like they don't really know what a shower truck is. And I got pictures, but they think I'm just free. Would you explain what a shower truck is and what it looks like?
He is not making it up about the shower truck. The shower truck, so if you can envision a box truck, like a Little Debbie snack truck, a U-Haul truck, it's a truck. It has 2 shower stalls. Between the cab, which is the seating area where you sit to drive, and the back end, there's an area that has all of my hot water heaters. It has all of my compartments to where my water would flow through, just like you would see behind a wall in the pipeline, how the water runs. Then you have the actual 2 shower stalls. We have steps that they can step up to get into the back. You have shower stall 1 and shower stall 2, which is pretty spacious. Like, I got in there just to see, and there's room where you can, turn around and hang your towel and things in the back. And then there's like a little part before you get into the shower that has like a place for you to shave. It has a little mirror, it has a little sink for you just to kind of, clean up after you get out of the shower, just so you're not taking too much time in the shower. So I got blessed with that. And man, it's been, I know this is going to be a blessing because there has been so much steps and freaking roadblocks that it's like, I never knew that it was just like so much trouble to get paperwork taken care of, to get something legitimately done correctly. And so I just been dealing with that, and that's really the only reason that it hasn't gone on the road, because I need to make sure everything is correct through legal standpoints. I need to make sure everything's correct. So yesterday was a very long day, but I got a lot of progress done with that. And next week, I plan to finish up some other paperwork that needs to be done with it. And hopefully we can get it out on the road in July.
To take showers for the homeless.
Showers for the homeless, yes.
So what's up with the back to school drives and things
All
of
right,
that nature?
so this is all he's running down. He's going through Rebels right now. So we got the shower truck and Rebels for Humanity, which is our homeless community organization under the Kingdom era. We are providing back to school drive, and it's going to be a total of 600 students to receive backpacks filled with school supplies. We have August 5th in Yazoo City, Mississippi. That's home base. Y'all know my roots go there. My grandmother's there. And that's where my parents grew up. And that town, that city, it's really sad. It's really, they really need some community support, some community help. There's 12 and 13-year-olds running around shooting, and they really need to know that somebody cares for them, that there's love still within, not to give up. Even if everybody else is giving up, I still look forward to the youth and try to push them and motivate them to do positive things, not to end up incarcerated for making silly and dumb decisions. So that's August 5th in Yazoo City, Mississippi. August 12th, big one right here in Pflugerville, Texas, which is a little north from Austin. We're going to be hosting it at the Pflugerville Community Church. Shout out to PCC, Pastor Steve, and everybody who supports the movement there. I'm going to have Preston. Y'all know Preston here at Polunsky. Preston is coming out. He's going to be one of the artists that's performing. We got OG Ministries, which y'all have heard his music on the A.R.M show. He's coming out of Joppa, Texas. He was actually incarcerated here at Polunsky about probably about 15 years ago. He's coming out. I got Trend the One. That's my girl from UT, the University of Texas. She's coming out to do some spoken word. Lyrical 2-3 out of Houston, Texas. We got Cuts for Christ coming from Houston as well, providing haircuts and stuff. And my personal stylist, Keneisha Lee, will be in the building doing some stuff for the kids too. It's going to be an amazing event in Austin, and we got the Kona snow truck, the snow Kona ice gonna be in the building too. So I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be super exciting. We got donations coming. Donations have already started actually coming. So for those of you who are listening on Amazon, we have a wish list for Mississippi and we have a wish list for Texas. You can send that information to your family. It's Rebels for Humanity Community Back to School Drive, and it's a wish list of supplies and backpacks that we're trying to gather for the kids. So if you want to pour into the ministry, I get a lot of messages saying, hey, how can I help the ministry? These are ways to help the ministry. You can purchase the book on Amazon, or you can purchase something off the Amazon wish list for these back to school drives. And if you got it like that, you can do both. I appreciate whatever. Everything helps, man. It's a blessing, and it's just a blessing to continue to give back into the community.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on the music, because it was a reason I was getting you to run down everything, because I want you to let the listeners know, or the viewers, who does all this.
KJ SD1.
And what help does KJ have?
It's limited help. I got Pflugerville Community Church that is allowing us to host. And then we have like a couple people, but I'm not gonna discredit my team either. Alicia Hall, happy birthday, Alicia. Today's Alicia's birthday, and shout out to my grandmother, Sweet Betty. Today's her birthday too. Grandma, happy birthday. I love you, Grandma. Alicia actually updates my website. She created my website. She did the website. I have my sister Kay Monet, who man, they do a lot of
caps.
this. Yeah,
that's all caps.
They do so much. And to Veronica, my personal assistant, my accountant, my bookkeeper, keep me on track, make sure the money right. She's actually setting up my book tour right now. Veronica is setting up my book tour, and then y'all know my mom, whatever I need my moms to do, my mom is right there. So I cannot discredit my team, but it's still a lot of groundwork that I do solely by myself, just because I have that passion and want to make sure that it's done correctly, decent, and in order, on all aspects, and make sure that whatever I'm doing is always glorifying God and his kingdom.
Yeah, because a lot of times I was getting I'm gonna say death threats about why she wasn't right and why she wasn't. So I just want you to let them know that's why I ran through the whole agenda, to let them know that very, very busy.
Yes, I am very busy, and I never ever try to ignore or discredit you guys. I love you guys so much. Y'all are very detrimental to this ministry. Actually, I don't know if how far this camera go, but right here, dedicated to, this is inside this book right there. It says IOMP family. That's Inside Out Prison Ministry family. That's for every individual that's incarcerated, that's been a part of this ministry. This book was dedicated to you guys too. I never discredit you. I never forget you. I'm going to be super recharged when I leave here. I needed to come here. I needed to be with my brothers. I needed to be embraced with God's presence and his love today. I've just really, really been going through a lot, and life is like taking me, and I'm just trying to navigate day by day. Oh, I want to give a shout out to Black Lambo. I'm not ignoring your messages. Happy birthday to you too. He had a birthday this past week. Black Lambo, I love you, bro, and thank you for continuing to be uplifting to me. Even if I'm not writing back, y'all trust and believe me, I'm reading every single message. Oh, shout out to Similac. I got a message from Similac.
Come on, man.
Hey, Similac told me to tell y'all he love y'all, man. You know what I'm saying?
Job, man.
Oh yeah, Similac, he hit me up. So I want to give credit when credit's due, man. I am reading y'all's messages. I'm definitely reading the messages.
Rummy, you got a question?
So you're getting into this social media thing. What's the ups and downs of that so far for you? I mean, as you're expanding now, you're streaming and all that? Is it bringing any? What
Man,
in your view?
Rummy, it's been a blessing, bro.
Yeah.
Really, I know I'm gonna get backlash on this book, but y'all know what? I don't care. Y'all hearing it first.
Get backlash?
Because it's too real.
Oh, okay.
It's too real. You know what I'm saying? But I've received like the book came out June 6th. So I did a recap, whatever the last Tuesday was, because the 6th was a Tuesday. So this past Tuesday or whatnot, I did a recap because personally to my cell phone, I received pictures, I received quotations from the book. So I gave a shout out to those people who've been hitting me up saying thank you, that they've been inspired by the book. They thank me for being so real, so authentic, for speaking the truth about things about my life, that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know that I dealt with mental health and that I was on a suicidal break. And, a lot of people don't know that stuff. And I feel like it's shunned upon and people look down on you because of it. But for me, it was a blessing because God still has me here. My same with my incarceration. People don't want to talk about it. They're afraid of it. I got an uncle that specifically told me to stop telling people I went to prison. Prison is a part of my life. Prison is a part of my story. Why would I hide a part of me? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hide anything. I need everything to be revealed because those are the kind of things that the enemy can come back and throw on you or try to pull you back and hold you back. And I ain't trying to give that fool no kind of credit for anything. So I'm exposing him. I'm exposing all of my wrongs, all of my wrongdoings, but I'm also glorifying God because if I didn't go to prison, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this. I would have never wrote this book. There would have never been any music. There would have never been anything if I hadn't gone to prison first because I needed to see that. I needed to value what other people were going through because I was a spoiled little brat and I was stubborn, snooty, and stuck up and just selfish. Honestly, just completely selfish. So I needed to go through that because that's where I met homeless people. I saw what the prison system was like. I got to actually sit down and hear God. I got to actually see his face personally to where I knew what my mission was, what my purpose was, and what I was called to do in this world. So I never discredit my trials and my struggles in life because I know that my trials and struggles may be helping somebody else by me being real, authentic, and just speaking the honest to God truth about my life.
Do you think it's some kind of just yesterday right there in the seat that you're sitting in, we had Mr. Polunsky, who the unit's named after, probably one of the most connected people in Texas. I mean, it's like, this is like lunch every Friday with the governor type of a person. Mm-hmm. And he sits there. We had the Bureau of Prisons director. He sat there. We had Director Collier sat there. Now Director Dickerson sat there. Every high official in this agency who has no reason to make this statement says this thing. Same thing. We got to start trusting residents here, and we got to start treating residents like human beings because they are human beings.
Absolutely.
They're coming back out here, and they are people. They have talents that have been kept down all this time, and we want to put that on full display. Why is it that people in this agency seem to be saying all this, but to us, they try to sell us? I'm talking about the media out there tries to tell us, hey, nobody wants to hear about prisoners. Prisoners are dead to society. There's no redemption. There's no second chances. That doesn't seem to be the conversation that's coming from the shot callers.
No. So I feel like, honestly, y'all are so powerful. We are so powerful because I am a convicted felon as well. We are so powerful that the free world people are afraid of what may happen if we all come together, if we all get out and things start to shake and move. I feel like they are afraid of what may happen as to why they want to keep oppressing, keep discrediting, keep making you feel like you are nothing because they are afraid of what actually may happen.
I don't think that's a big group. I don't think that's they maybe have a big mouth as far as their voice is loud.
True.
I just don't think that they represent the average citizen that's out there. I mean, if
very true.
Right now the statistics are, I think it's no, these are guarantees. This is not you could. This is 1 in 17 white men will go to prison. Guaranteed in the United States right now.
Okay.
1 in 6 Hispanics will go to prison. Guaranteed right now, males. 1 in 3 black men. That's 33% of
Yeah.
all black men between 18 and 25 are guaranteed to go to prison.
Those are high numbers.
Out of every 28 children, one of them is going to have every 28 children period in the United States, one of them is going to have incarcerated parents today in the United States. Those are some crazy numbers. So
Yeah,
I say that not to say that we're such a vile, evil place and God Almighty. I'm saying, if that many people are in prison, that means that many people have cousins, brothers, uncles, friends, and all that. That means everybody's got somebody. Yeah.
Everybody's affected by someone or knows someone that's been in prison.
So
that's,
it's not
the
a
point that he's making right now.
Yeah, it's not a taboo or a frightening thing to talk about prisons. Oh, if you talk about it, you might, they'll blank you out, and
no, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be addressed because the thing is, the more and more we bring attention to it and talk about it, maybe, possibly, that could be the less things that, people that are coming in here. And that is another reason why I go to the juvenile detention centers. That is another reason why I do community events that involve youth and talk to them and, tell them. Like this past Tuesday, I was at a church camp and I had 25 children that I spoke to about prison. I spoke to them about the book. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to know that choices and things that you make and that you do, it is very important that you always think before you make an action, because the system is designed for us to be trapped up in it to allow us to make us to fail.
Yeah, honestly, and I know it's going to be, my mom will be the first one to execute me for saying this statement and probably everybody else. I do believe that the reason there's so many problems for us here in prison as residents here is because people in the world, not saying you, you're obviously doing it, people in the world are very quiet. The ones that, and they think, what could I possibly do? A person that gets on Twitter and starts a conversation about prison reform, me personally, I can get shot for this, but I personally don't believe there's some concerted effort here in the system itself trying to destroy me every day, me as an individual. I believe that this podcast, this studio, all that screams the fact that, hey, if you got a dream, you're a believer in God, Jesus can make things happen for you. So you can't sit there and say that the system is bigger than Jesus. It's not at all. It's
not at all.
And this is a physical, tangible example to you. Y'all sitting there right now should erase every excuse a man has to say, hey, I'm just dead to the world. I can't do anything. Because y'all are reaching the world from right here. But I'm saying we need to motivate our families out there to have more discussions, not discussions about how bad everything is all the time. Because that puts people's walls up. And people are like, well, that's part of punishment, and that starts a whole different conversation. What I'm saying is people need to hear Brian Key rapping, talking, need to hear you in here interacting with residents as a former resident. Hear the conversations, because just like the Tank's been doing so far and your conversations on your social media, when people are hearing these, they're like, well, that's kind of odd because he sounds just like me or my brother or my friend. He sounds like anybody. He's just normal, If I didn't see the white clothes, I wouldn't even know he's in prison. I think that's what's critical.
Very true.
The motto of the station, when we show these people that we have changed, change will come. Doesn't work the other way around. Doesn't mean change the system, give us a chance to get out. Now we're all going to try to meet every ITP criteria to get out of here. When we change, people will see it and they will wonder, well, why is Brian Key even in there anymore? Okay, he's done his punishment. Mr. Polunsky just sat right here and said, hey, you commit a crime, there should be some punitive aspect to that. There should be some punishment to that. But when is enough enough? You know, that's the question we have to bring in is, we are 104. Everybody shouldn't get out of here. There's some people that prison is probably the best designed concept in history for you, because you don't want to change,
That's true.
And you have chosen to stay there. But for us, we need to get the conversation out there that, guess what? Those couple failures, the escapee that kills people, the people that go back into society and blast our recidivism rates. Texas has one of the lowest recidivism rates around in the nation. And why is that? Why? Because Mr. Collier's smart? No, it's Mr. Collier's smart in the fact that he says, hey, you know what? Faith-based programs work. Peer-to-peer programs work. Residents talking to residents. Ex-residents coming into the prison works. And he allows that to happen. And the numbers can't be, skewed in any kind of way. I'm just encouraging people, when you watch podcasts like this, tell your people, you may feel powerless. Get on Twitter. Talk about prison. Talk about, man, I just heard this great rap song from KJ, and she was talking to this guy, Dirty Face, and you should have heard his little hook that he wrote in there and this and that. And that becomes a conversation where people are like, wow, those guys are really talented. What are they even doing in there?
Absolutely.
And that changes things.
Absolutely. you said something. So, a lot of people come up for parole, and your life coaches, you've done these faith-based programs, you've done, a traumatic change in your life. You go see parole and they deny you. I'm trying to figure out how that happens. And again, like you said, people who don't want to change, the prison's the best place for them. These are the people that's getting out, not the people that are in here impacting and making a change. Why is it that the ones that are doing something positive, using their time wisely, building and creating an avenue that could make them really successful when they get out of here, why are they being denied parole? Like, your thoughts, Rummy?
Well, people don't like me for my opinion on this.
Hey, I don't even. Hey, this is real and raw,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter if someone likes what you say. The truth is the truth.
That's my opinion, and don't. I hope people don't read into the beginning or the end and just kind of slice and dice the comment. But me personally, I've said since day one, I don't believe that God in heaven, Jesus, is too concerned about me, Rami's freedom from here. I think he's concerned about, what are you doing right now at 9:29 on this morning in June? What are you doing for the kingdom right now? That's what he's worried about. That's what he invests his time and his efforts into. So I think sometimes I spoil some of the work God wants to do with me because I'm so constant, I'm so focused on this exit date, and everything I do is steered toward this exit date. And there's nothing really beyond that. There's some fantasy about what's on the other side of the exit date, but there's not. God is saying, hey, do what you can do right now. And I'm promising you, there's a scripture that says your gift will make room for you. It says that God has the kings and princes' hearts in his hand. So if God says that parole officer, they were born for your parole review. I believe that whatever parole officer is going to look at my parole, they were born for that very moment. They weren't there for Brian Key. They weren't there. They were born, designed by God for that moment when they're going to review my case. So I know God is in control. I don't understand what he's doing. It doesn't make any sense. I really look to heaven sometimes and say, God, this is really messed up. This guy just walked out the front door, had his family pick him up. He says they got a bottle of liquor in the car. He's flipping you off. And why is he getting out? And God is really saying, why are you so concerned about that, Rami? Why wouldn't you be more concerned about what you can do today to impact your community? Because as you do that, you're great. You become great. You become successful. You become a person that people look at you and say, man, anywhere he's at, he's just like Joseph. Everything, it's not about us personally, but everything he touches. When they said that Joseph's hands, everything he touched turned to gold, that was a reason, because it glorified God. Because in prison, it shouldn't have turned to gold.
Yeah.
It should have been dung in there. But he became one of the most powerful people in that land from prison as a prisoner. So I believe when we can totally not worry about this exit date, not worry about not shooting what you just said, not worry about what people are getting out or if they're not, but truly just say, hey, I'm going to maximize today. I'm going to be the best I can. I'm challenging myself that God every day is going to make me more and more successful for the kingdom of heaven every day that I'm there. When you get out, that'll just be icing on the cake. Everything will be paved so perfectly for you that you'll be like, now it's starting to make sense why sometimes you hold off, God. I don't know why some guys get out. Probably the best answer is this is the world, and they're getting their reward according to the world standards and the world reward. I don't think that there's some parole officer somewhere saying, now this guy looks like a total screw up, I want him out. I just think that it's as simple as they probably don't even read the file that much. They spend 2 minutes and 14 seconds on a parole packet, and that's just because there's too much to do. So once we start not just analyzing it, somebody somewhere did a study and said they spend 2 minutes and 14 seconds on a parole packet. And I said wow too, but I was wondering, if you spent that much time analyzing the time that they review that, how much time did you spend going to the same people saying, hey, I noticed you only spent 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Can I offer a recommendation? We're really quick to identify the problems here, and there are a ton of friggin' problems. This thing is broken. Some of these people really take our advice when we say, hey, why don't we try like that? And it changes. Like the guy that came up on this unit said, Warden, why can't I have my line up? And he got on the radio and said, all officers, all stations, inmates can have their lines up. Don't write them up ever again. And in that moment, it stopped.
Wow.
You know how many people have been written up and gone to lockup and everything for having lines up? It can change in a heartbeat when God is ready for it. So I don't know why people get out and some don't. I just know, well, this is the world. And I'm not saying when I get out that I'm being blessed by the world. I'm saying I'm not worried about that exit date one bit. You know, a director stood right here and said, man, what are you going to do if you get out tomorrow? I said, well, I'm really hoping for like maybe a year or so still. If something supernatural happens, I still want some time to build this radio a little more.
Absolutely.
Because I'm doing my frigging dream in here.
Absolutely.
And I am not no super intelligent. I may look good, you know, but
Here we go.
Are you for real? I may not, you know, anyway, so, but I believe that a person should maximize. When you start maximizing, man, that exit date is going to be like icing on the cake, and people are going to be like, man, we're so ready for you to get out, man. It's just incredible to see what you're going to do. It's not a building process when you get out.
Hey, I just laugh because I love when all y'all are funny. Everybody look good. Everybody got it going on. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but if you don't encourage yourself, then ain't nobody else gonna encourage you. So I ain't even hating. I was like, here we go. We finna go on down in there. You know, it's nothing bad, man. It's nothing bad. Y'all my brothers, so you know I'm always gonna encourage you. I'm always gonna support you, even when you ain't that good looking.
Even though when you lying. But
that's why we edit this.
If I had to answer the question, I can agree with Rummy on some of it, because I believe if I had to attack it from both areas, from the worldly perspective, I would say because you'll always be a number. You'll always be your conviction. Unless you get a personal one-on-one with the people and they see who you are, who you become, then I believe that they're going to always see you in that light when it comes to you making parole. If I had to attack it from a spiritual standpoint, I believe that because what's God doing for you, he needs to keep continuing to do for you, because if you didn't make parole and God didn't have his hand on it, you would fail. And like he just said, he's not failing because of he didn't make parole. He's still building. I tell God, profiting.
Please God, don't ever set me free when I have achieved some level of readiness. I always tell God, let my blessings, let my ministry for you, let everything be in your strength alone. Because I'm not a dummy. God spanked me a long time ago and said, hey, as many times as you want to pretend as if you're empowered to do something or accomplish something that'll move me and I'll just cry and weep over this beautiful child I have down there, hey, you got it all wrong. Why don't you start asking me that instead of in your strength, may be my wisdom, my strength? And I don't think God sits up there and says, well, Brian Key is really good right now. Boy, he's 2 years, I'm going to move for him. I don't even think God's looking at him saying, Brian Key's doing something right now. Man, I'm proud of my son. And when some day comes up, it's just whatever's going to happen. I mean, it is what it is. Get the focus off that exit date, man. You can be brilliant, smart. That woman that's sitting in a prison somewhere right now, that man sitting there saying, hey, I don't have a radio station. We didn't either, you know. This didn't materialize overnight. We were in multi-purpose rooms beating on with Sean Oliver's, you know, Nazi self, you know, even though he's black, Nazi self, trying to dictate everything and beating on podiums. And we didn't have computers. There were no lights. There were no big speakers. None of that. All that was work for us. So people
still not no air conditioning.
People don't want to grind. That's the bottom thing is people don't want to grind for what moves God, you know. And when you start grinding genuinely and saying, God, I'm not worried about an ITP. I'm not worried about a parole. I'm not worried about it. That's in your hands. You do whatever you want to do, man. You've got their hearts in your hand. I'm going to grind for you every day right now, man. God looks down, and I want to make God cry today because he's so happy about what I'm doing for him right now. Not when I get that, I go to one building and they give me that answer and it says, why? And I come screaming out there in the child, I made it. Yeah, bye, bye. Yeah. And God looks at that and says, man, I could just throw up on that. Yeah.
But I'm going to do that.
You could do that.
I'm going to cry snot everywhere.
But God says, man, I wish sometimes if you could see from my perspective, if you could see from God's perspective, you would sit there and say, God would look at you and say, man, there should be snot coming out of your nose right now because you don't even realize what that song you wrote right there did for this man on this other unit who gave his life to me, and a billion angels are rejoicing today. But you want to have some snot about an open door. Why don't you have some snot about that song you wrote that moved the frigging nation? You know?
I did. I had some snot about it.
That's true. Rummy, I just want to rewind back. My same prayer, y'all, when I did shock probation. It was my first offense. They sentenced me 10. I did 15 months on a 10-year sentence. And that was my prayer every day. God, don't let me out until you know that I'm ready. Every day, repeatedly, every day. And he opened the doors when it was time. But again, I needed to mature. There were things that I needed to do. Also, what Rummy said, you gotta grind, man. Like, the grind is real. Like, I get down in the trenches. There's many nights where I don't sleep. When the process of this book and formatting this book, I kid you not, when I got the formatation of the cover, I broke down in tears crying, because I have struggled. I have been through some things. I have had financial burdens to where I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from, how I was going to pay my rent. If I told you the numbers that I make and the cost of my living, you would identify clearly it's nothing but God. God is my provider. He is my protector. He makes sure that I'm good, and I know that, and I give him all glorification for that. But my grind never stops. My grind for him doesn't stop. My grind for me just to have basic living needs does not stop. It's just, you gotta have it in you. If you want change, you gotta grind to try to be that change. You gotta grind to try to make that change happen. It's not just gonna, like Rummy said, like this whole entire studio. I've been coming to Polunsky for a very long time, and just every time I come in here, it's something new added. God has blessed something to this tank ministry. God has blessed something to my brothers with the topics and the things that we talk about. The anointing is here, but again, the grind work that goes into it, this did not just drop out of the sky in a snap of a finger and we had all this stuff going on in here. It has been a process that, God sees the hard work. The harvest is coming. We're in the harvest season right now of all the blessings that God is giving us, because we have thrown out so many seeds to others. Like Rummy was saying with the music, we get stuff. Like I'm gonna read some stuff today that I received from some brothers in the ministry, because what this A.R.M show has done, how it has impacted and affected people. It is important that we acknowledge that lives are being changed because of things that we're doing, things that we're saying. They're seeing us now. They can visually see us and truly see our passion. Before, you could only hear it. Now you can see our passion, how we feel about the kingdom of God, how we feel about the change inside of the system. It's so different when people can actually see things. We know with faith, you know what I'm saying? You have to walk by faith and not by sight, but something changes when people can truly see the impact, when people can truly see that there are some people that care about you. There are some people that want you to be successful. Not everybody's bashing you. So, I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful that, God has blessed us to have this avenue to continue to spread his ministry, to continue to be used by him to touch so many more lives than just those here at the Polunsky unit.
Yeah. I think we're just so focused, and it's really easy to change a conversation around for inmates and people that are in here. There are people in here that are never going to get out. They're never going to get out. It does not, in my opinion, my own personal opinion, does not please God in the least bit when I always create ministry, or I create tools in here that are designed for the man that's getting out, because there just is the raw fact that there are some people that for whatever reason God has allowed it, and whatever the theology, the plan, or the whatever it is, I don't understand it, and God doesn't owe us an explanation for it. There's some people that are never going to get out of here. There's some people that will their execution date will come and will be executed, and it is our job to provide a platform, an environment, a place where they can thrive and give so much back. John Henry Ramirez, he told me one day in a letter that his biggest dream was that when he died, that he was able to still keep talking. And today he is still talking. He is his messages are out there. His service is still out there. God opened doors, and where people like that from the LA Times or the Marshall Project, all these people publicize the good thing. They publicize the bad thing that the agency do when the Johnnies suck and the air conditioning and all that, but they do publish the good thing. So I think the agency has realized, well, you know what? They were very worried about the Marshall Project coming in here, what they're going to say bad about the system. And they realized, well, these people are kind of equitable. If we show them we're doing something good, they publicize that too. And now the people that are here are saying, hey, well, shoot, let's start rock and rolling and doing some good things. And that's going to provide things like TVs on death row. It's going to open up men now, programs where men are going to be able to, God willing, really soon, guys on life row will be able to come together in a group meeting in a rec yard. You know, life coaches will have better access to the different parts and have more responsibility, be able to do more things, and all these things happen. We don't always understand. We don't understand why we didn't have the basketball tournament today. We don't know what is happening, but God is not failing, man. God is not losing a battle. God is not in a constant battle. God has already won. Jesus has already won this thing. We don't understand it. We just need to show man, we can make a world in here that until you get out, this world in here is so close to a free world view. The only difference is you just don't go out and drive in your car. This is such a free world place. I believe, man, within the next 5 years, you're going to see people creating podcasts in here. You're going to see radio stations. You're going to see free world radio stations, YouTube, all that, carrying the podcast. You're going to have men in here that are going to create their own podcast. And just like they do in other areas here, you're going to be able to write a contract with a free world church or a free world program to do a 6-series thing on drug rehab. And inmates are going to have a job in here. And is it going to make the agency look good? Heck yeah. Is it going to be beautiful us? Heck yeah, it's going to be beautiful. So it is a good thing. If you get mired down and I had to sit in the same 112 degree temperature that everybody else had to sit in. I promise you, man, I don't know how God has designed it, but I do believe that I live in the hottest cubicle on the planet Earth, you know, without a doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I didn't even know areas of my body that could sweat. My eyeballs were sweating. My eyeballs were sweating. But
and they weren't tears, huh,
and they
bro?
weren't tears. They weren't tears. So I know God is still in control. You know, it doesn't feel good. It sucks. I want to be somewhere else. I want to be in Morocco or wherever, but I'm just not right now. But in the midst of that, I'm still going to sit there and sweat on the piece of paper about the next plan I have for the next table or the next microphone or the next mixing board or the next meeting. And I'm going to grind until God says there. And when everybody has that same view, it doesn't make me some hellified guy for having that revelation. It just makes me a guy that can share that with you and tell you if you do it, it friggin' works. It works.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, what you got it open? You finna share it?
I'm finna read. All right, so this one, this is from Black Lambo. Everybody here at Polunsky is familiar with Black Lambo. I'll just give a little bit of background. So when I first met him, this guy was very edgy, very sketchy, very just something else, man.
Yeah,
I'm just something else. But over time, I've talked to his mother. I've prayed with her. She's prayed with me. And he's doing so much better. I came and I went over to Life Row to hand out hygiene probably about January, February, something like that of this year. And I finally got to actually meet him. And he surrendered his life right there, y'all. I saw God really working in this man. So I'm going to read what he wrote that's directly directed to the A.R.M show. To the A.R.M show, shout out to my Polunsky unit haters. This your boy, Black Lamborghini. Now on Hughes unit. What up, Lil Shelton, Finesse the Baby, Maynard.
See, now you going through the same thing I go
I
to.
know, because
this pretty writing.
This writing is something Malibu for like Most Swag and the Smooth Groove Crew, Set Trip Chucky, D2 Polo, Tennessee Slim Sir, something, I don't know, Fifth Ward T-Pain, y'all keep your head up, Lil Chris Dirty Raw, but most of all my sis KJ, you made a change for the better in my life. Love you. I'm out. Black Lambo. That's I'm telling y'all, he's something else. I know you probably could hear it from me just reading that. But this right here, this is from brother Michael Johnson. I want to read this. This is the text that he's coming out of Matthew 12:39, Psalms 86:7, Judges 6:16 through 22. Signs, signs, signs. I have often heard preachers say it is wrong to say God. It is wrong to ask God for a sign, to know which direction to take or what decision to make. Nope, not true. Why, MJ? Because a decision must be made and a course of action must be taken. However, there must be a critical divider between sign seekers and sign askers. Motivate. Jesus told those seeking a sign from him, an evil and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign will be given to it except for the sign of the prophet Jonah. Their motives were wrong. The contrast, King David who spent many hours in his secret place, asked the Lord to give him a sign for good. Gideon also asked God for a sign to know if it was him speaking with him. Bottom line is, are you sold out? Are you a sold out servant or a child of God, diligently, earnestly seeking to do his will for his purpose and promise to reach completion in your life and the people in your life, because that is a retirement to a sign asker when necessary. Happy trials. How about a hand clap for Jesus? This is what he wrote that he wanted to share with you guys. Some food for thought, to think about some things. I got one more here from Luis Garza, and this is called Loss. A lot of people say they're lost, but what is being lost? Are they lost physically, mentally, or emotionally? Saying I'm lost can mean anything. You are bound firsthand out how you're lost, where you're lost, or if you're lost. That's the only way to find yourself. Once you find yourself, you have found the key to not get lost again. Don't lose yourself. Just stay focused. You have the keys you need. And this is a quote that he said, a quote that he keeps close. I'm thankful for my struggle, because from it I have found my strength. Be strong, be brave. You've got this. So that's a word of encouragement from our brother Luis Garza here. I get stuff like this all the time, and I always share with Dirty because God gave him the vision for this arm show, and with the arm bar and things that we're doing, I feel like it's important that they know that they're not ignored, that what God gives them and they share with me and I share with Dirty and we share with you all is very important, and I feel like it's life-changing, and it can be life-changing. And we've had this for a minute, but maybe it was just needed to be spoken today, that somebody needed to hear that. Somebody needed that extra boost of encouragement today, to know that they're loved, to know that they're cared for. And it's not just me, Dirty, Raw, Lil Chris, Lee, Mega. It's not just us saying this thing and saying that we believe in you and that, you know, we want to encourage you and this, that, and the other. The listeners are also sending in things because they want to encourage you as well. They're tuned in. They want you to be blessed by what's going on in the transformations that's happening. So don't take anything lightly. Get your pen and your pad out. Replay this, listen to it, take some notes down, and see, you know, how you can encourage somebody. Because if you send it to me, I'll definitely get it to Dirty. And if we feel like it's something that is not being silly, because I do get some silly stuff from people. If it's not something that's being silly and you're genuinely wanting to help somebody and say something, then we'll definitely read it here on the air.
All right, well, as we come to a close, you want to give your shout outs before I give mine?
Yes, I want to give my shout outs. Shout out to my brother Yo. Yo is at the Darrington unit. Shout out to my brother Yo. Happy belated birthday, bro. I love you so much. Thank you for being detrimental to me. Shout out to my brother Third, my bass man. I love you, man. Keep striving. Keep letting y'all use you in a mighty way and shining. Again, shout out to Jeezy. Thank you so much, bro, for this book cover. To all my sisters on the hobby unit, shout out to Eskimo EJ. Shout out to Teresa Price. That's Chicken George's daughter. That's they call him Chicken George. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? But shout out to my sister Teresa Price. To my entire the Kingdom Era staff team. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. White Money. Shout out to White Money. He wanted to be White Money wanted to be here so bad today, and some things happened, but it's gonna be on God's plan. And also shout out to Mark and Julia Grubbs. Y'all will meet them very soon, but I'm just gonna give a little intro on them. They are they're instrumental to my ministry. Mega's gonna get some stuff cracking with y'all. You'll be able to see their production work in these videos that we're gonna try to get up on this FYI pretty soon, so that you guys don't only get to hear me talking here, but you get to see the interaction with things that I'm doing out in the free world. I thank y'all again. Tank Nation, A.R.M Show. It's your First Lady, Kay Jay SD1, straight out of Austin, Texas. Thank y'all for always having me, embracing me, and loving me. I'm gonna pass it to Dirty.
Well, shout out to all my A.R.M affiliates, Lee in the Field, Lil Chris, Business in the building. Shout out to them. They not in the building, but shout out to them anyway. Shout out to Holy Game, man. They released that album, man, and I appreciate it. It was a good look. Bobby G is in the world, and he has hit us up, Bobby G.
Yes, he has.
So shout out to them. Shout out to all the formal guests that came in the building. Mama J, a.k.a. Loretta. Shout out to Marty. Shout out to my grandma. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
That's just all I can remember off top. Shout out to everybody. I love everybody, man. And if Rummy don't got no shout outs, we can close it out with
just keep grinding. That's it.
Keep grinding.
We can close it out with the closes, man. What we always say is all that give off a little light must endure a little burning. All that isn't given is lost. And most importantly, stay tuned in and not tuned out. We out.
Peace.
Tank Nation Conversations, promoting change through change.
I'm Brian Collier, Executive Director of Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Blakinger.
Dennis Martinez. I'm a world and U.S. skateboard champion.
Hello, my name is Kevin Kempf, and I'm the Executive Director of the Correctional Leaders Association, and it's an honor.
Gary Moore.
Yeah, my name is Hedemias Cooper.
Hello, I'm Michael Dutra.
And this is Sharon Dutra.
I'm David Gorin. I'm a radio producer for the BBC.
I'm Maria Malgaronis.
My purpose is to look out at each and every man in this room and see that there's hope for everybody in here.
When I came to death row, all I knew was that I came here to die, but little did I know, I came here to live.